February, we always dedicate him to Black History Month, Dr. Martin Luther King's legacy, and I'm pleased to be joined on this week's show by the Councilwoman at Large, Patricia Perkins Auguste. Councilwoman, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Mayor. It's good to be back.
Yeah, how are your holidays?
It was nice, fast. The holidays are always too short for me. It's a lot of hustle and bustle. When you have children, as you know, you have Jacqueline, and you
have two boys.
Yes.
And how did they do?
They did well.
Did Santa give them everything they wanted?
Yes,
or
they did.
And more, or what?
And more, always too much, but that's what it's all about.
That's right.
Yeah.
So it was a good day in the Perkins Auguste household for the holidays.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
February is Black History Month, and the citywide kickoff celebration is February 3rd at the Sampson Center. And you've been active in this kickoff since we started, and it wasn't at the Sampson Center. We've had some in City Hall. We've had some elsewhere. We had it at the gas company for years, but you've been active in this kicking off Black History Month. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about this year's kickoff.
Well, actually, it's an event that started with Rod Spearman in the Elizabethport Press. It's called the African American Collective, whereby each year on the first Sunday in the month of February, they will have an event, a community-wide event, where they recognize African American families, African American local businesses, and it's just a day of storytelling, dance, and of course there's always the ethnic food there. Sometimes they have events where you can purchase, whether it be ethnic books or clothing and jewelry. It's just a fun event for the entire city of Elizabeth.
And Rod Spearman still is very active in pulling this together.
Yes, he is. He is basically the chairperson for this event, and he pulls together all sorts of people in the city of Elizabeth, community people, political people, nonprofits, just to come together and have a day of sharing, fun. And it's,
I always tease Rod about the African American Collective because it's always on the first Sunday, and now that they moved the Super Bowl to the first Sunday in February, everybody at his event is rushing to get out of there for the game that starts usually sometime after 6.
That is correct. Actually, he pins it down to the time. Like by 5:30, he wants to wrap up because all the men are going to leave. And all the women got to go home as well to help prepare for the refreshments for the Super Bowl. And it looks like the Giants may just be in the Super Bowl this year.
How about that? They got a shot.
Yes,
we'll see what happens. You're hosting the annual Proclamation Signing in City Hall on February 4th. And can you tell us a little bit about that event?
Well, Mayor, first I got to say hats off to you and thank you. You also basically run this event. It's the Proclamation Signing. And by law, the mayor is the one who signs the proclamation, and we thank you for that. But it's an event also open to the general public for all to attend. We have it in city council chambers because when we first took office, a lot of people, African Americans, never been inside city council chambers. So I said, well, let's have the meeting there. Let's have the event there. And that's really mushroomed into a huge event where we have singing and African dancing and usually a speaker with a very interesting topic. And we try to get former Elizabethans, African Americans who once was born and raised in the city, who have gone on and now they lead successful lives. And we ask them to come back, to give some experience, to give some wisdom to the future generation. It's a well-attended event.
Now, we've had some interesting speakers
yes,
in the past. Billy Mitchell, who grew up here, is now in the state senate in Georgia.
That's correct.
Is definitely a statewide player in the state of Georgia. He comes from the Stone Mountain District, which is also infamous in a Dr. Martin Luther King speech, Let Freedom Ring, from Stone Mountain, Georgia. We've had some other speakers as well, some members of the clergy, as well as some other political people. And who is this year's speaker?
This year is not Hassan Abdallah, excuse me.
He was a speaker, though.
He was a speaker at one time.
Year.
It's Muhammad Bashir, who's also born and raised here in the city of Elizabeth, who now is a lawyer. He worked with the Union County Prosecutor's Office, and he has written a book, and it's about hip-hop and the law. So he's going to be speaking to our right now generation, to our teenagers, to our future lawyers and mayors and council people to say, this is the down low on the law, and this is how you need to obey it and things of that nature, trying to help them to survive and be successful in life. So,
that's an interesting topic. Have you seen the book yet?
Yes, I have seen the book.
You haven't read it yet?
No, I thumbed through the book, and it's pretty interesting.
I know, we've shared some books in the past, and you always tell me you thumb through the books.
Right.
I read them.
You're an avid reader.
That's right. Your husband and I, we like to read the books.
Yes, and I think I'll make sure I get you a copy.
Okay. Love this. I'll thumb through it. No.
No.
This year's guest speaker, what do you think he's going to address besides the hip hop and the law? How do you think his message on those two subjects, as diverse as those subjects are, would resonate with today's young people?
Well, today, young people, they see everything through hip hop. I mean, that's their medium. That's how they communicate. That's the way they speak to one another. So we as adults need to begin to use that as a tool of reaching them. And if you can reach teenagers through hip hop, through the law, I think it's an excellent way of just touching them.
There's always a big debate on language in some of the hip hop songs.
Is. Yes.
And while language is protected by the First Amendment, does in your conversations, how does that? I mean, because naturally you want to try to get rid of some of that language.
Well, I'm hoping, knowing the Bashirs, their family here in the city of Elizabeth, I'm quite sure Mr. Bashir, the Esquire, will try to depict what is proper language, what is appropriate, even when they are referring to law enforcement,
Well, law enforcement women sometimes are denigrated in these songs.
Yes.
And it's unfortunate that kids have to listen to that and then grow up with that as a role.
Right. So it should be interesting.
On the same day as the proclamation signing, the NAACP hosts the African American flag raising outside of City Hall. The origins of the African American flag are very specific to not only Africa but to America as well. Maybe you can share the colors, what they mean, and how the African American flag came about.
Well, the red, as you know, is for the blood that's been shed, and the green is for the land of Africa, how fertile the continent Africa is, and black is symbolic of the skin color of the people, which is why it's the red, black, and green. Interestingly enough, the originator of the flag was born and raised here in the city of Elizabeth, Melvin Charles. He was a member of the Liberty Baptist Church a long time ago, and he started with this flag back in the late 60s, and it's been flying all around the country on different state houses and city halls, and he came to us maybe about 10 years ago, and he said, why not fly it in my own hometown? We said, we welcomed it, open arms, and Mr. Steve Sampson brought him to our attention, and from that point on, we've been hailing it in Black History Month.
Now, he's not an Elizabethan today.
Not today, no.
Okay.
No.
That's interesting to know, because he helped present a small token of the flag to a lot of people at one year's ceremony years ago.
Yes, I think the first ceremony that we had, the flag raised, he did that.